dirty governors.
All of my good friends, let's get together.
St. Paul and the Broken Bones. And the Green River Ordinance.
But it ain't love if it can't break your heart.
Find us on the web or like us on Facebook. See you soon at the Alex City Jazz Fest.
Times change, but what Alabama banks on never changes. In good times or difficult times, people in Alabama know they can bank on community ties, common history, strong relationships, and trusted experience. That's why for over 110 years, Tallapoosa County has banked with Alliant. Log on to AlliantBank.com or come by one of our convenient locations and experience the same friendly service. Alliant, a century of banking on Alabama. Alliant Bank, a division of U.S. AmeriBank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Lake Winds Golf Course, the most affordable, quality round of golf in Central Alabama. Located right off Highway 280 on County Road 4 in Alexander City, Lake Winds Golf Course offers affordable membership, an updated pro shop, junior golf program, annual tournaments, and weekly matches. Call for your tee time today, 256-825-9860. Lake Winds Golf Course.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
Sportz Blitz Live is on the air. News, scores, predictions. Sportz Blitz Live with your host, Brett Pritchard, Luke Robinson, and Randy Lee. Call 800-782-0108. Auburn.
45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going running all the way back.
Alabama.
38 pounds and 80 yards.
And the latest in high school sports.
Yes, he is. Touchdown.
It's Sportz Blitz Live now. Brought to you by S&S Discount Tire and JR's Sports Bar and Grill.
Good Tuesday evening, everyone, and welcome into Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. Brett Pritchard and Luke Robinson with you till 9 o'clock, and we want to hear from you tonight. Give us a call, 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464 to be part of the program, and we got some great guests on tonight, and we'll get to them down the line, Luke. But, again, always glad to be on Sports Blitz here with you, and again, throughout the state of Alabama on Charter Channel 80, Channel 2 in the Lake Martin area, and on the radio dials 97.5 Kowaliga Country, and over in the Auburn Opelika area at 95.9. So, again, wherever you're tuning us in, we appreciate it. Luke, as we head into the summer months, a lot of the stories tend to be off the field, off the court stories. There is still a lot going on in the world of sports. The NBA Finals coming to a close, college baseball heading into super regional action. The Alabama Crimson Tide women in a Game 2 of the College World Series Championship Series tonight, trying to get to that pivotal Game 3 They lose 5-0 last night. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But a lot of headlines out there, a lot of things here in the state of Alabama that we'll talk about. Nick Saban, $55.2 million, somewhere in that area that he can make signing this new deal.
It ain't enough.
So
I mean, you can't give him enough. And I'll tell you what's funny is on the way over here, I read about a new deal that Rich Rodriguez is going to get.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get $2.2 million, which, you know, it sounds like a lot for Rich Rodriguez, but I think that's the going rate for a guy like him at Arizona. He's going to have the opportunity to make some bonuses, et cetera, et cetera. But the caveat to all of this is he's been offered essentially stock in one of Arizona's boosters companies, that if he stays the full 8 years, he gets whatever that stock is worth. He can't do anything with it until he gets to the completion of the 8 years. And right now it's valued at about a $6-point-something million. It's a pretty big deal. And if that's the game that everybody's going to start playing, I mean, there's going to be some paychecks out. And Texas A&M, I think, are going to start winning some of these battles.
Well, they are, and we heard a lot of talk this week from Commissioner Slive with the SEC, and he said, I can't speak for our cohorts in the other conferences, but when he said that, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, he really is that if they don't get autonomy from the NCAA, if they're not able to do the things that they want to do, they're going to push for Division IV. They're going to push for Division IV, and that's where we are with it. And I said it on Sports Call probably 5 months ago, Luke. We are starting to see the evolution of college football into something that we've never seen before.
Well, I want it to happen, honestly. I mean, I'm looking at this baseball tournament, and if you tell me out there you enjoy that, here are your super regionals: UC Irvine and Oklahoma State, Texas and Houston, Louisville and Kennesaw State, Vandy and Stanford, Virginia, Maryland, Louisiana, Lafayette, Ole Miss, TCU, Pepperdine, and Texas Tech and College of Charleston. I mean, your potential 8 people in Omaha could be College of Charleston, Pepperdine, Lafayette, Maryland, Stanford, who's a 3 seed, Kennesaw State, Houston, and UC Irvine. I wouldn't go watch that if it was in my backyard. And no offense to those schools, I just don't want to see them.
Pepperdine's always been a baseball power, and they've been to Omaha several times. But, but on the flip side of that, on the SEC side, had 8 teams in it.
They had 10.
10 to go. So what's wrong with them? Why doesn't LSU step up to the plate, no pun intended, and take care of business in Baton Rouge, where I went out last week and said that's an impossible place to go in and win, and they get killed by Houston. And why doesn't a South Carolina, who's been at the top of the rankings all year and got multiple national championships now, get put out in their own?
Florida got put out in their own. They were the number 1 seed overall.
That's exactly right. So, I have to give – I'm with you. It's a lot more sexy when the big boys are in it, but sometimes, I don't want college football and college baseball and college basketball to get watered down when we narrow this down to the 64 and go, all right, we got the top 64 top money programs is basically what it's
That's exactly what I want. I have no desire, and I think it's watered down the other way. I mean, I don't want to see and it's not because Kennesaw State beat Alabama. I've been saying all along Alabama's smoke and mirrors anyway, and it doesn't surprise me at all that they were swept by Kennesaw State. But I don't want to see Kennesaw State play anymore. It's no offense to them, but I just don't want to see them on the big stage. I want to see. I wouldn't. If Texas gets in there, that's great. I'd love to see Texas, but I'd love to see LSU, South Carolina, UCLA, anybody like that. Texas A&M. But they played Texas. But my point is, I just don't want to see Kennesaw State play College of Charleston for the right to be a national champ. And everybody says, well, that's just the way it bounces, and it's a tournament, and you got to play every game. But see, the baseball season is so long.
It's long.
I think that you should already start out with a super regional. I don't think there are a lot of these teams that even deserve to be in the tournament to start with. Alabama being one of them.
Well, you got to figure out how to play the season and get to where you are now. And look, and I know we've had people on both sides of the argument, but the people on the other side of the argument are saying, well, look, if you're Florida State and you won 46 ball games or LSU, and you get to a regional, take care of business. Don't lay an egg. Take care of business. You're not afforded the right just to be handed a slot in the semifinals just because you wear LSU across your jersey.
Well, let me say the other side of that. I think that they did take care of business all season long with 46 wins, and in one bad weekend, it's all gone. And I just don't. I don't
twice.
I know, but I'm saying they all had some bad weekends. All these teams won a lot of games and proved themselves during the season, and to me, that's what's important. That's why I love college football. That's why I don't want it to be a playoff of 16 teams, because if you lose 2 games, and I know LSU won a national championship with 2 games not too long ago, but that was a freaky moment. If you lose 2 games or 3 games, I don't want you playing for a national championship.
Yeah, I mean, I see the argument on the other side. Look, I just don't want to lose the feel of what college athletics is as a whole. I definitely, the strong survive. The money makers are going to be there. Look, it's not going to change things for Alabama and Auburn and LSU and Florida. They have the money. They've got the boosters. They got the programs, the facilities to do that. And what they need to go ahead and decide as college athletics is what Mike Slive is saying, is let's just go on and make this separation and quit talking about it.
I agree.
Let's go ahead and do the inevitable, because that's where it's headed. And everybody was using the year of 10. I say it's going to be within the next 5 that this will all happen. And there'll 64 teams. There'll be 4 major conferences, and then that'll be your 4-team playoff right there. If you win your conference, you go to the playoff. And I think everybody can foresee that, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I really don't. But under the current structure right now, I don't feel sorry for LSU losing 2 games in Baton Rouge to the teams they had in that regional. I
feel sorry for us, because now I've got to try and watch Kennesaw State play College of Charleston. I don't want to see that. So what I'm going to do is not watch. If LSU was playing Louisville, I would watch that. I mean, that would be good.
There's so many people out, and there's people on your side. There are so many people out there that love underdogs. They do.
Well, now guess what? If you got a field full of them, who's your underdog?
Yeah, that's true.
That's the problem. See, everybody loves the underdog until they win. The underdog's fun when they lose by 1. That's when the underdog's awesome. Okay, you don't want Butler to win the national championship. You want Duke to win it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but going back to Butler, I know they never won it, but to get there twice, to get there 2 straight years, well, and it says a lot about a coach too. Because
he was a pretty good coach.
Well, he does, and that tells you about coaches being in the right place at the right time and building programs and doing certain things. And we say it all the time, and we always go back to 2 things in college football. Number 1, you better have a great coach that can recruit. And then number 2, you better have a doggone good quarterback. And that's synonymous across college athletics, synonymous across NFL too, because the teams usually with a better quarterback win.
Well, and I especially agree with you on the coach, but the thing about the quarterback, and I keep saying this, I keep hearing teams that don't have an experienced quarterback can't win. I mean, Auburn won the SEC last year. Nick Marshall came in.
I didn't say experience. I said good quarterback.
Okay.
Good athletic, somebody that can make plays, because we've seen it both ways. We've seen guys that have been there 3 years. Of course, they're going to be good. The seniors returning. But we've also seen a Cam Newton come in for 1 year. We've seen a Nick Marshall come in for 1 year. We've seen guys that are very talented that can get it done.
Yeah, I agree. But at least from Alabama's perspective, I mean, Greg McElroy was serviceable. I mean, I guess you would call him
I'd consider him a good quarterback.
But, I mean, you wouldn't consider him above average necessarily.
But what made them good?
Or Jay Barker, God knows he threw for 17 yards in the national championship game.
I know. What makes those guys good is because, and I know Jay Barker, but they came through the system. It's 2 different. It's apples to oranges. You get one guy over here that's a tremendous athlete, can succeed in any program, and then you get a guy that gets in a good program like a Greg McElroy or like a Jay Barker and becomes part of that system, and his consistency and the ability not to make dumb mistakes is what helps Alabama win championships.
Sure.
So 256-234-6464, 1-800-782-0108. I'd love to hear your opinion out there. I think that's a good topic for have people call in. I mean, what do you like? Do you like to see everybody have an equal shot, and when they get in the field, and if they happen to topple the Giants, so be it? Or does it make you to the point where you get a bunch of teams in it that don't have the name? Does it make you turn the TV?
This is essentially basketball and baseball have essentially turned into, remember in high school when your parents would get that invitation, do you want your child to be in the who's list?
Yeah.
And really you just sign them up and everybody's in the who's who. And if everybody's a who, then it's not special to be a who. So, I mean, everybody's in this thing.
And we're not Dr. Seuss either. We're living in Whoville. So, 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6465. I think it's a great point. I mean, on both sides, I think you got an argument both ways. Here's what the truth of the matter is that college athletics is going to go to the haves, the major Division I, the championship as we know it. doesn't mean that the other schools aren't going to have something to play for.
And they could have their own division. They've had it before.
But I've got something else, and when we come back, I want to talk about. We're going to have one more segment here, and then when we come back from break, we'll have Dave Jennings, the head golf coach at Central Alabama Community College, on in about 25 minutes to talk about his program. They won the national championship last year, and he'll be a good person to ask what's his take on it, because Central Alabama Community College is a have in golf.
I was going to say, in the junior race in golf, they are a have. There's no question about it.
But the point I want to bring up and discuss when we get back from this break, Luke, the FCS schools. What is the impact of the FCS schools? Because we know a lot of kids that go to FCS schools, and they're good kids, and they're good programs that rely on the money of playing Florida, of playing in Alabama. And when Alabama and Florida and Auburn and Florida State decide they're not going to play any more FCS schools, what happens there? 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR's and S&S Tire right after this.
On Tap is brought to you by Hyundai of Auburn. You owe it to yourself. Call Hyundai of Auburn today at 334-321-0777 and visit them online at HyundaiofAuburn.com.
S&S Discount Tire on Cherokee Road in Alex City is the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealership and a place for everything mechanical. Weary and the S&S Tire crew are ready to serve you with double the capacity from routine oil changes to full engine overhauls and all transmission work. S&S Tire can handle it all. That's S&S Tire on Cherokee Road. Call David or Weary today at 256-215-8822. Visit S&S Discount Tire at 224 East South Street in Dadeville, now in 2 locations.
Lake Martin means boating, and boating means style and performance. Get both at the first annual Lake Martin In-Water In-Season Boat Show, June 13th, 14th, and 15th. Skier Marine and Alex City Marine have hooked up for the first annual In-Season In-Water Boat Show. This is your opportunity to see, ride, and experience the best in watercraft. It will all be on display next to the River Bridge in Alex City on Highway 280 with boats in water also. Get off-season prices, in-season, and special financing on site, June 13th through 15th on Lake Martin.
Welcome to ASA, a full-service salon and spa that caters to men, women, and children. Our product lines are Redken, Keratin, Sahag, and Moroccan Oil. We have 8 master color specialists, a skin esthetician, a licensed massage therapist, and a licensed nail technician.
We have introduced the keratin smoothing treatment. It is perfect for all hair types, and it reduces frizz up to 95%.
From the time you arrive until the time you leave, it is our goal to exceed your expectations. Please call ASA Salon and Spa for all of your styling needs.
Lake Martin Washington Details, 734 on Airport Drive here in Alexander City. Phone number 256-749-6351. Remember now, they do offer gift certificates. They can do just a regular wash or a complete detail. They go that extra mile, and of course they use quality Alabama Auto Magic products. They're family owned and operated. Again, give David a call. They'll be happy to pick up and deliver that vehicle right back to your job site too. The good folks there at Lake Martin Wash and Detail.
It's political season. Get the most exposure for your campaign through Lee Marketing Group. Yard signs, banners, decals, door hangers, postcards, business cards, video production, advertising, and more. Custom, professional, and engaging. Everything you need in one place. Contact us today. 888-533-6758. www.leemarketing.net. LMG. Success by design.
Lake Winds Golf Course, the most affordable, quality round of golf in Central Alabama. Located right off Highway 280 on County Road 40 in Alexander City, Lake Winds Golf Course offers affordable memberships, an updated pro shop, junior golf program, annual tournaments, and weekly matches. Call for your tee time today, 256-825-9860. Lake Winds Golf Course.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Alex City Marine, the Lake Martin area's premier new and used boat and motor dealership. Find out more at alexcitymarine.com.
Welcome back to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. Give us a call, 256-234-6464, 1-800-782-0108 to be part of the program. And, Luke, I'll give you a second to talk about your friends that came down to fish with Alex City Guide Service with David Hare. Of course, we've shot 3 shows with David, and every show we've ever shot, if people have seen Sports Blitz Outdoors, you can see why he's one of the top guides around. And you hooked some of your friends up, and man, they had a tremendous day.
Yeah, they did. They actually texted me from the boat, said they're having a blast, and they're catching everything in sight. 3 of the 4 guys caught, 30 pounds?
Over 30-plus pound striker.
I mean, that's ridiculous. And so they had a blast. Somebody else contacted me today, another guy that was on the same trip.
Are you going to start being a booking service?
I think I am, because, I mean, I hadn't been fishing since 1986, and they've already caught more fish than I ever have, at least pound-wise.
In that one fish, there was more than you've ever caught.
But, yeah, I still say, and this now is your golden opportunity, Dave, to invite me to go fishing, and we ought to film that and see how that goes.
Novice, a new definition for novice. I think we've got a phone call. Is that right, Justin? We have a call. Okay. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, go ahead. You're on Sports Blitz.
Hey, Brett, how y'all doing? I just got to comment a little bit on what Robin said. I want the big teams, the schools win, maybe like Alabama, Auburn, and LSU, but you know, like you were saying earlier, you know, if they play them games and then they get right there to the end and then they get in on like a playoff and then they lose, I mean, I think, everybody goes like sometimes in college, they're looking for like a national championship. Am I right? I mean, and another thing is, if they get out there and they play, let's say Troy plays, let's say Auburn. I mean, you know, if they come up there and play Auburn, and what if Troy was to come up and beat Auburn? Is everybody going to say, wow, that was shocking? I mean, if they good, they good. But if they bad, just like Alabama that year, they had a bad record. I mean, what was it? Louisiana Monroe came up and just knocked Alabama. I mean, they just knocked us out. We wasn't playing our game. I mean, in my opinion, I am like a what you call it? You just want to go?
What you call it? That's I don't know.
Well, you just said
underdog.
The underdogs. Sometimes I have pulled the underdog.
$1,000,000 to 1 shot there.
And they have won a few games, but I mean, you know. But anyway, I'm just getting old today. I just want to call and say, hey, I have put the underdog on some teams. It's according to who they are. If it's UAB or maybe Troy. Somebody that I really kind of like Butler. Now, I was putting for Butler that few years because, hey, they had a good team. You got a good team, and they struggle many years, and then they come into the playoffs, they want to win. So I had to go off to some of them, but I know y'all got a different opinion, but hey, I know what brings the money in. But hey, I would sit there and watch. I know Alabama got beat, but I would sit there and watch a little game. I mean, you know, hey, make the best team win. I mean, let's go. But anyway, we're ready with baseball, football, whatever. But anyway, y'all have a good day.
See you, Jerome. Woo! I'm telling you what, we're going out. I'm telling you, he is the king of the commas in those sentences. But well, listen. First of all, yeah, I mean, I like an underdog story too. And if Troy's playing Auburn, guess what? I'm going to pull for Troy. Don't worry about that part. But I would say this, that even if you go to Troy, I don't know anybody that's just a Troy fan, Brett. I mean, you're still an Alabama or Auburn fan who happened to go to Troy, and you pull for Troy when Troy's playing. Yeah. But, you know, everybody's still an Alabama or Auburn fan in general. Mm-hmm. Same thing with most smaller schools. And that's okay. So I don't see what the big deal is about having 64 of the best teams move on. And what you're going to see then when you have 64 of the best teams move on and do their own thing, there's going to be a bottom to that 64, and they're going to become your new underdogs. But at least these underdogs are going to have stadiums you want to go to. They're going to have some history behind them. And that's not to diminish anything some of these smaller schools have done. But the big boys are the big boys for a reason.
Well, and then so that segues us over into what I want to discuss about FCS schools. And, you know, you started to hear all this talk. And, of course, Will Muschamp came out a couple of weeks ago and said they will not play any more FCS schools. Of course, he probably not played them because he got beat by one by Georgia Southern. But, you know, regardless of that, but the reason it's not about the money either. And for the 64 schools, it's not, because they pay $1 million, $1.5 million for some of these schools to come. And here's the issue for those programs. And I'm not going to name any particular programs, but for FCS schools, they get paid $1 million, $1.5 million to travel to Oxford, Mississippi, or travel to Auburn, or travel to Alabama to play. When these schools decide they're not going to play FCS schools anymore, not because they don't want to pay them, but because the new playoff system is going to lend itself to teams with weaker schedules having a lot worse chance of getting in, then that's what's going to cut them off. And so when that happens, and when all of these top 64 decide we're cutting the FCS off, there's your official move. And then these programs that rely on those games, look, I'll use Troy for an example. Troy, their motto was, we'll play you anytime, anywhere. They billboards up all over the state. They traveled to Nebraska. They traveled to Florida. They had Missouri come to them. You know, they had teams come in. Mississippi State actually just made a trip to Troy. They're not afraid to play the big boys. Well, not afraid to play the big boys because they're getting paid a lot of money. So when you take that revenue share away from them, what's going to happen to these programs that rely on these other teams to pay for them to have those games? So, and I know Alabama right now, and are you going to run into this problem? Alabama, and if you go to a 9-conference schedule, then you won't have this problem probably. But but Alabama's in 2015 is trying to still look for a game. They can't find anybody to play, and you see it in high school. We've talked to Jamie Dubose when he was at Prattville, and he can't find anybody to play. I've talked to Denny Horn over here at Benjamin Russell the last couple of years, and he's asked some people to play, and they won't play. I mean, it's a situation where, you know, you kind of put yourself in a bad situation sometimes because nobody won't play you. I mean, because you are a good program, and they don't want to lose. So instead, it's kind of like everybody loses because the little schools don't get the money anymore, and you can't find a formidable opponent to put on your schedule.
Well, I think what you may see is if you do go to that 64 team, or if it's 80 teams or whatever, whatever it is, 72 teams.
I think it's going to be 64.
Well, then you'll probably see more unification in the schedules. You'll see more cooperation. The Big Ten will help the SEC out, and there'll be more crossing there. But as far as Troy and Jacksonville State and whomever else getting the money, look, I'm all for them getting the money. I have no problem with Alabama playing those games, or Auburn, or Georgia, or anybody. I mean, I'm all for those games being played. Now, if they say that those games are going away, then the Troys and the Jacksonville States and everybody else are going to have to find another way to make that revenue back up. That's the way the game is played. That happens in business everywhere. You've got to. It's not Alabama or LSU's or USC's or Ohio State's job to make sure that these teams make money.
No, that's not.
And Alabama and the SEC and the Big Ten and Pac-12, everybody, they are moving forward, and it is a giant money grab. And everybody's saying, well, it's just sickening. And it's sickening all the way to the bank, though. Everybody's making as much money as they can grab, and they're going to keep doing it and keep doing it, and that's just the way it is.
It's a very competitive world out there as far as these programs, and what convinces a player to go to Georgia over an Auburn or an Auburn over South Carolina. And some of these kids come in and everybody's equal, and it's depending on what kind of weekend they had on their official visit. You know, what kind of facilities do you have? If your facilities aren't comparable, then they're not going to look at you. You know, Auburn had Torrance Gibson up, and it's really between Auburn and Tennessee now for his services, and he's a top quarterback, the number 1 dual threat quarterback in the country from Miami, Florida, and he had a tremendous weekend at Auburn and Big Cat weekend. And, you know, Tennessee, you just go back and look at Tennessee's facilities versus what Auburn has done the last 5 years, and Auburn's ahead of them facility-wise. I know they have a huge stadium, but it's kind of worn out. You know, it's kind of run down. And so, you know, when all's equal, when he's trying to make a decision and he didn't really have an allegiance, it's going to come down to, where am I going to have the best stuff provided for me? So, you know, it's the same thing in college basketball with these contracts. The teams with Nike are the haves. The teams that aren't with Nike are the have-nots. It's the way the camps are designed. It's the way everything's laid out. Not saying it's right or wrong, but it's what you have to deal with. So, but I know there is a lot of concern out there for FCS programs, and we'll just have to see how it plays out. But I do know this: we are headed in the direction of the big boys separating themselves and forming their own league.
But let's also say this, too, that whenever Auburn plays Jacksonville State or Troy or Alabama or whomever, and that game comes on Jefferson Pilot, well, I say Jefferson Pilot, the old Jefferson Pilot, the ESPN 11 o'clock game, we're all miserable about it. We hate that game. I mean, we watch it because it's still our favorite teams, but we hate that game because we know in general, I mean, and I know last year Florida got upset. That was a bad Florida team that didn't make a bowl game, so let's not put too much stock in that. For the most part, it's a whitewashing every time, and by the third quarter, you've got your third-string quarterback in. It's just not a lot of fun to watch, but it does bring up a point. If we are going to go to this, however many teams it is, the Big 5 conferences, or however they realign, and it's just the big boys, they better allow for more scholarships because you're going to need the depth. You're not going to be able to have, feast on the Little Sisters of the Poor for a couple of games and rest people. You're not going to have a week off, so you better allow for more scholarships right now. I mean, it used to be unlimited at one time. Then I think it was 88, and now it's, 82?
Something like that.
So, I mean, you got to, I think you need to go back up to something like 90.
I think they'll have to look at all that. So, 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. Up against the break. We come back, Dave Jennings, the head golf coach at Central Alabama Community College, national champs last year. Great program. Have him on the show to talk about his program. And one of his golfers just named National Player of the Year. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR's and S&S Discount Tire right after this.
For people of a certain age, like me, we remember the good old days. Drive-in movies, RC colas and moon pies, and driving your dream car for $200 a month or less. They're back at Hyundai of Auburn. North American Car of the Year, Elantra, $179 a month. International Car of the Year, Sonata, $199 a month. All Hyundais have superior gas mileage and America's best warranty. Hey, give me another RC.
Here you go.
Gary, we're working together again.
Just like the good old days, and I'm smiling.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
Wireless Advantage is Lake Martin's Verizon premium retailer, located in the Marketplace Shopping Center on Highway 280 in Alex City. We've got all the latest cell phones, along with the latest Wi-Fi internet products, home phone options, and state-of-the-art tablets. Don't get caught in long lines. Get full Verizon service and products from Apple, BlackBerry, Droid HTZ, iPad, LG, Motorola, and Samsung right here at home. Visit Wireless Advantage in the Marketplace Shopping Center in Alexander City on Highway 280 for all your Verizon wireless needs.
Welcome to Zaxby's. How may I help you? I wish to be a princess. We can make that happen. Thank you.
At Zaxby's, kids care. So in honor of the thousands of children we serve every year, we're proud to once again team up with Make-A-Wish. This year, we're helping to grant the wishes of 50 kids with life-threatening medical conditions. Because every child deserves a little star power. For more information on Zaxby's Kids Care, visit Zaxby's.com.
It's always something. Your car needs a new tire, tuition is due. It's down to the wire. Cheerleading outfits, soccer shoes, football pads, or annual dues. Nellie's in band. She needs a trombone. Good golly Molly, you need a loan. Jimmy broke his arm. He needs a cast. You need money, and you need it fast. When life comes at you, Always Money can help you through. It's easy, convenient, friendly, and fast. You'll get the cash you need the day you need it. So because it's always something, remember Always Money. How much can we loan you today?
What is LMG? It's a team of professionals with the tools to create a successful marketing plan to help your business grow. LMG has successful designs that get results for the individual and the business. We provide signs of all types: screen printing and embroidery, promotional products, web design, audio and video production, and much more. LMG has 3 locations to serve you in Alex City, Dadeville, and the Auburn Opelika area. Call us at 888-533-6758.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Russell Do-It Center, offering a complete assortment of lumber, building materials, electrical, and plumbing supplies. Russell Do-It Center stores deliver first-class service, top-rate products, and competitive do-it-best pricing.
Welcome back to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and SNS Discount Tire. Brett Pritchard now here with Dave Jennings, the head golf coach at Central Alabama Community College. Dave, man, appreciate you coming out tonight.
You bet, buddy. Thanks so much for having me.
And national championship ring on that hand from last year, and I know you guys are still proud of that. And this year didn't quite finish where you guys wanted to, but made it to nationals again. Just tells you how tough it is to not only, first of all, make it to nationals, because you're one of the top teams automatically when you make it there, what you have to go through, but to win the thing. I mean, so much has to go right. There's a lot of great teams in this country, and you know, you can be very, very good, but you have to have a little luck on your side to have things go your way. And last year you guys had a tremendous team this year, but you know, but again, finishing 8th in the country is nothing to shake your head about. But CAC, year in and year out, is viewed as one of the top, if not the top, golf program in the country.
Well, thanks. It's a special program. I'm proud of it. You know, I'm just proud of the whole legacy of this golf program. You know, I got here in 01, but this thing's been around since the 60s, and it's been successful for a while. But, you know, Maxie won his first nationals. You know, when you cancel a program, you're starting from scratch again.
Yes.
Maxie won his first nationals in 1990, and he started the program in the 60s. And so, anyway, we started this program. I hope to win next year and the following year. We have extremely great chances of being up there competing for nationals because of the what winning nationals did for us for our recruiting is just phenomenal, Brett. I mean, the quality of the student athlete,
Sure.
I'm talking academically and athletically,
Oh, yeah.
that have been coming across, you know, in my mailbox and over the internet,
Everybody wants to
email.
play for national
They
championship.
want to, and we've done a good job also of moving the guys on. And you know, I don't bring a guy in with the 2-year college plan.
That's right.
You know, he's got to want to graduate from college, or he needs to go play someplace else.
Mhm.
So the guys that are coming in all want to play and succeed here,
Sure.
but they also want to go play and succeed at the next level.
Yeah,
So
and that to me is where it all starts with your program, is because you talk to the parents, you talk to the kids, and you explain to them that, you know, your academics are extremely important.
Right.
You know, you're here to win a national championship, but you're also here to get an education, because the chances of you moving on to play professional golf and that being the thing that provides for you and your family one day is a very slim shot.
That's right.
So you
That's
better
right.
have, and you know, you see so many athletes go back to school and they finish their degrees because they know they're not going to be an athlete, even the top of the top know they're not going to be an athlete their whole life, and they want something that they can go into and be a professional. I know a lot of people go, well, you know, if you're a top athlete, make all millions of dollars, and you
Right.
don't need to work, but it's so amazing how many that are driven. I mean, if you're competitive, you're competitive. You don't
Right.
just decide at 36 years old, which is still a young person, but old in athletics a lot of times, hey, I'm just going to sit around at the house and do nothing.
Right.
You want to go be an investment banker. You want to go be some kind of you know, business person.
Or
out in
if
the real world.
nothing else, that kind of guy, especially if he's got the cash, he's made the cash
Yeah.
professionally, he wants to accomplish something. He doesn't want something out there lingering. He's got another 12 hours. I'm going to accomplish that, and I'm going to acquire that degree.
That's right.
You know, because it is.
Mm.
You know, it's an accomplishment to go through and receive your degree. You know, a Cam did not want to leave that out there. Bo didn't want to leave that out there.
right.
Those guys, you know, they've got. There are a lot of guys now on tour that may have left in their junior years. This week up at the Memorial up at Columbus.
And you were there.
And it was tremendous experience. And we'll get to that. But this one fellow that won the same award as my player, he's leaving after his junior year, turning pro, and he plays for Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
He's the #1 player, amateur in the world right now. And he said, I am going to come back and get my degree.
Absolutely.
Right now, I've got to, while the fire's hot, I got to go make some money. You know,
Absolutely. You don't know when it's going to be gone.
You don't harvest in February.
That's
right?
exactly right.
So he and you know, it might be a great plan for him. Whoever said that you need to go to school from the age of 6 to 23, it worked out really well for that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But this young man, he may get his degree at the age of 40, and that'll work out for him.
Well, he's got something that a lot of people don't have, and it's a special talent.
Exactly.
It's funny you mentioned Cam Newton, because he tweeted a picture and put on Instagram about 2 weeks ago of him studying. He's back at Auburn in the summers, and he's studying and got his books laid out and said, you know, fulfilling my agreement,
exactly,
with my mom and myself to get my education. And Cam Newton's on top of the world right now. He's probably the most high-profile NFL player out there. He's up against another player in Richard Sherman for the cover of the new PlayStation game.
It's not going to make a nickel's difference in his life's income.
No, it's not. And
No.
I mean, and he could just be off buying cars and traveling the world during the off season. Instead, he's grinding away with books. That should be your motivation out there for anybody that is pursuing whatever they're pursuing, is to stay the course and finish your deal. Alexi Lawless, the professional soccer player, just finished his degree from Rutgers. He's been out of soccer for years.
It's very cool.
An analyst for ESPN on the World Cup stage, and he got his degree from Rutgers this past weekend. So, I mean, that, to me, those are the stories we don't talk about enough.
Right. Well, I'm wondering if Rutgers is going to make that top number that you guys were talking about earlier. Those kind of things.
Well, it depends on if you're in the conference. Look,
yeah, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah, and before we talk about Tim, I know we want to talk to you about several things about the memorial and all. Your take on what Luke and I were talking about, because that's kind of where the show centered around, is, this is going to be an issue that these FCS schools are going to have to deal with. They're going to be cut out because of the way the new system is, Division I playoff.
Right.
This committee is going to look at strength of schedule. If you got these teams that are even, you got 6 teams up there that are undefeated, what's going to set you apart from those other teams? And it's going to come down to who did you play. Did you play 10 really tough opponents out of 12? Or did you play 8 tough opponents out of 12 and you play 4 cupcakes? And if you're both undefeated, obviously it's just kind of like hiring somebody in the business world, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
If you got this candidate over here and both of them are great, you got to find something that's going to separate. You can't hire both of them.
Right. Well, I'm afraid of is, because this is going to span all of the sports at their school.
There's no doubt.
Augusta State, where Jay Sewell is the coach at Alabama. He coached at Augusta State, and they won nationals twice. Well, they won nationals 3 times. They won nationals with him, and they won nationals with his the coach that followed him. But are they out? Well, shoot, I guess so. Also, these programs, these colleges and universities that have been fortunate enough to play Alabama, play Auburn, and they have built these facilities expecting the future, these guys coming to visit, right? How are they going to maintain these facilities?
I don't know, and that's a problem. And I know Luke made a point. It's not Ohio State and Florida State and Alabama and Auburn's job to keep these schools up. They, and I understand that point, but it's kind of like, Troy's motto: "We'll play you anytime, anywhere, any." And now it's kind of like you got them, and their expectations are here, and you pull it away. Look, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's unfortunate is probably the best term for it. But they're going to have to, and FCS schools need to group now, and they need to come up with a way that they're going to handle this, because this is coming.
Right.
And they don't need to turn their head and go, well, maybe that ain't going to happen, because Florida has already come out. Will Muschamp has already come out and said, we are not going to schedule an FCS school.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to do it. So if that's the case, then other schools are going to follow, and other conferences are going to follow, and that's going to happen. So FCS schools need to prepare themselves for the storm coming.
Well, you know what else is going to happen, I'm afraid? When you get an SEC team playing an SEC team, there are injuries all over the field. Well, if they double that, how many times they're playing it? There's going to be injuries like we won't believe it. He was talking about depth.
He's going to have to.
He was going to talk about depth, but I don't give. If it is really down to the wire, who is the coach going to put in? He's going to put in his his top players, right? Because he got, like Luke said, you got to win.
We're going to take a break. We'll come back one more segment with head golf coach at Central Alabama Community College, Dave Jennings, and talk about one of his players this year winning the National Player of the Year in junior college, a tremendous honor. We'll talk about that and his trip up to the Memorial this past weekend on the PGA Tour. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR's and S&S Tire right after this.
Bucks Island is one of the oldest boat dealers in Alabama, serving boaters since 1948 with the largest boat showroom in the state. Bass boats featuring Skeeter, cruisers and sport boats featuring Monterey, pontoons featuring Crest, G3 and Voyagers, powered by Mercury and Yamaha. Bucks Island has sold over 10,000 boats and with a full service and parts and accessories department to keep your boat in top condition. Don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote. Visit Bucks Island on Highway 77 in Southside or online at bucksisland.com. Give them a call at 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island, where our #1 product is customer satisfaction. Don't let pests take your house or business over. Wave the red flag. Red Flag Pest, owned and operated by Scott Davis on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, is licensed, insured, and bonded, and serves the Lake Martin area, specializing in lake homes, residential property, and industrial property. Call for a free inspection today, 256-825-0430, and visit us online at redflagpestcontrol.com. Red Flag Pest Control, when the problem has to stop. Guaranteed.
What is LMG? It's a team of professionals with the tools to create a successful marketing plan to help your business grow. LMG has successful designs that get results for the individual and the business. We provide signs of all types, screen printing and embroidery, promotional products, web design, audio and video production, and much more. LMG has 3 locations to serve you in Alex City, Dadeville, and the Auburn Opelika area. Call us at 888-533-6758.
Family owned and operated, Holly's Home Furnishings is the Lake Martin area's best choice for all of your furniture needs. Whether you're looking for something new for the living room, dining room, or bedroom, Holly's has something you'll love for every room in your house. Holly's has a great selection of furniture and the most popular names like Lane, Broyhill, Rowe Furniture, as well as the best names in mattresses like Sealy and Tempur-Pedic. You can even get beautiful home decor, everything your home needs, at Holly's Home Furnishings, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City. Visit their website at hollyshomefurnishings.com.
Hello, I'm Russell Building Supply.
And I'm the big box store.
Box, I don't mean to cut you short, but I've got a delivery to make.
A delivery?
Yeah, Russell delivers anywhere in the local area for free, usually on the same day, and that's on top of our low price guarantee.
Really? Free? Are you kidding me?
No, and if you prefer to pick the order up yourself, we'll load it for free.
And on the same day?
Yeah, we're really good at working on short lead times. How about you?
Yeah, I'm short.
Serving Lake Martin and Central Alabama.
For over 60 years, East Central Alabama has relied on Jackson Refrigeration for installation and service on all brands, including Rheem, Goodman, and York. Now we've expanded into A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, a division of Jackson Refrigeration. We still make your comfort our priority and expect our staff to be the most experienced, dedicated, and trained to give you the highest quality of sales and service. When choosing your heating and air company, choose our family of professionals. The all-new A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, the all-new division of Jackson Refrigeration. This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Dark Insurance, offering insurance for all your personal needs, including auto, both homeowners and disability. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance at 256-234-5026.
Welcome back to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S. Discount Tire, Brett Pritchard out here with my good friend Dave Jennings, the head golf coach at Central Alabama Community College, for one more segment. And Dave, a lot to talk about in this segment. Again, you've been on the show multiple times. You came on last year after y'all won a national championship, and the 6th in school history. And I don't know, I may be throwing this out there, it may be completely bogus, so correct me if I'm wrong. The most second-place finishes in JCA history?
I think we're close. I haven't gotten that figured.
Isn't there 10?
There's like 10. It's up there.
So 6 national titles, but 10 times finished runner-up. And,
right.
you know, that hurts because you're close, but there's a lot to be said for that. And, you know, that just tells you that your program, year in and year out's up there with a chance to be competitive and do well. I want to talk about Tim Walker, one of your players, a sophomore, winning the Jack Nicklaus Award for the Player of the Year in junior college. A tremendous, tremendous honor.
You know, all through this year, you know, Tim has been the #1 player from the very first week of competition in all of our polls.
Wire to wire.
Wire to wire. It's been fabulous. And I kept on telling Tim, you need to move your ticket back home to the first or second week of June because this would be awesome. Finally, he told me a week and a half ago before he left, he said, Coach, I finished second this golf tournament that I'm playing in next week twice. I am not going to finish second this year. I'm going to win that thing. I said, well, I'm not going to argue. You're going there. You're not chasing a girl.
Yeah.
I love it. You're going there to play in a golf tournament. So, but what it was is that every division has got a winner. NJCAA, NCAA 1, 2, and 3, and the NAIA. And there's a selection committee, and they look at everything from strength of the field that you played in. I mean, it's an extensive qualifier to select this. And our player, Tim Walker, who was just a fabulous student athlete for us. He was on the Dean's List.
Oh, yeah.
Won 3 times this year, had 3 second places finishes, and only finished out of the top 10 one time.
And you mentioned plane ticket for all of you out there that don't know where he flew back to is Australia.
Yes.
So he's from Australia, a long, long way from home.
Yeah, a little difficult
here
to just jump right over.
Here in rural Alabama, there's a culture change, but he adapted really well, and tremendous young man. I've enjoyed getting to know him at Central Alabama Community College, and you know, those are the kids you want your kids to grow up to be like.
Exactly, and Tim is just such a great kid. But the Golf Coaches Association of America called me a week and a half ago. Actually, it was the Monday before the NCAA championship started in Hutchinson, Kansas, and they said our nationals had finished.
Yeah.
And they made the selection, and they told me, and I couldn't say anything. I was driving me crazy. I told Tim, but it was driving me just absolutely crazy because I wanted to get up on top of a hill and scream. But I mean, I was just that proud of this young man. But they said, well, if Tim can't come, could you come and accept the award? And Brett, it was the, you know, I've been in golf now for a whole long time, very long time, nearly 40 years. It was the pinnacle in golf, personally for me. Now the national championship was really awesome, but to go to the Memorial Tournament in Columbus, Ohio, Jack Nicklaus's tournament, we spent an hour and a half with Jack. He came and was just relaxed. He wasn't in a hurry. But what the coolest thing that Nicklaus did is he grabbed each player, I mean, we've got media. There's 40 media guys from very, you know, NBC and the Golf Channel and all these people that are doing all kinds of interviews and cameras and stuff. Grabbed each one of the 3 guys that were there and spent at least 5 minutes just eyeball to eyeball. So, how can I help you?
That's amazing.
Ask me a question.
That's a wonderful experience.
And someone tapped him on the shoulder, you know, said, we got to go. So he said, I'm not through. In other words, go away.
Yeah.
And it was, and these 3 boys, these 3 young men, just left there going, I have just got a new hero if he wasn't before. But Tim was one of the fellows that was selected from the NCAA was from Stanford, and that was Patrick Rogers. He is the #1 amateur golfer right now in the world.
Yeah.
And so Tim's in top company, and what he's going to be able to offer next year to Mississippi State is going to be great for them. But what he has done for us has been fabulous, and honestly, he's made me a better person being here. All these kids do.
Oh yeah.
But you know, this program. This year, finishing 8th is not what I really strive for. But we were successful. We're Team Academic All-Americans again.
It's awesome.
All 4 of my boys are going someplace to play. One, Alex Brownell's going to Huntington. Jacob Stinson's going to University of North Alabama. Andrew Claysing's going to a national championship contender at Georgia Southern, and Tim over Mississippi State.
Tremendous program, tremendous athletes, tremendous coach. You know, when you run things the correct way and you handle your business the right way, good things happen all the way around. And the kids that are out there that are the true competitors have their priorities in order, want to play for programs like Central Alabama.
Well, when I get to that spot, and I was telling Scott on the radio, when I get to that spot where all I'm worried about is what they do right here, and not about their future, someone needs to tap me on the shoulder and put me in the rocking chair. Yeah, or just tap me on the shoulder and hit me with a baseball bat.
There's so much more.
That's because it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about these guys, and but it's a blast to watch them succeed. You know, on all your ambassadors, you've had such great contact and relationship with all of our athletes. They come back and they see you. They come back and see me.
That's right. They
and
do.
How cool is that?
It's awesome. And you want to see what they're doing at the next level, and not only at the next level, where they're going now, and how many, you know, where did life take them after they left Central Alabama? You know, what are they doing professionally now in business, or do they own their own business? They work for a company. They're married now. They got children.
Right.
They bring them back. So just a tremendous experience, Dave. I can't say enough about what you guys do, and you know, at Central Alabama, and the type of program you put on the course year in and year out. And
well, if we didn't love it here, and we didn't love the people, we didn't love our college, we didn't love what we do and the thought of what we do, I guarantee you, I wouldn't be here.
We'd find something else to do.
We certainly would.
You're exactly right. So, Dave, always a pleasure having you on.
Thank you, Brett, for having me.
Thank you so much. That's Dave Jennings, head golf coach at Central Alabama Community College, and always a good person to have on this program, and always a lot of great stories that he shares. But again, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Luke Robinson will join me. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR's and S&S Tire right after this.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a 4-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
Sperlin Recycling is an Alabama-based recycling company specializing in the recycling of metal, aluminum, copper, ferrous, and non-ferrous waste. Sperlin Recycling is available for all your commercial recycling needs, including demolition, on-site scrap removal, and roll-off services. Sperlin Recycling is a family-owned corporation with several generations of experience. Call us today at 256-234-0903 and visit us online at www.sperlinrecycling.com.
When you're on Lake Martin and looking for your own boat, it pays to know what the locals know. Alex City Marine in Alex City and the all-new Alex City Marine South on Highway 63 across from the Mini Mall is Lake Martin's premier Landau pontoon boat dealer and the area's authorized Suzuki, Honda, and Mercury outboard dealer. Alex City Marine has the industry's best brands, and they back it up with the industry's best boat repair with marine-certified specialists that get it done right. Whether summerization or a full overhaul, Alex City Marine has you covered on both ends of the lake. Know what the locals know. Alex City Marine, Lake Martin's complete sales and service center with 2 locations to serve you.
JR Sports Bar and Grill. Mondays, all you can eat fingers, $13.25. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, all you can eat wings, $12.25. Every day, kids in uniforms eat for $1.99. Alabama Street in Alexander City and Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
For over 60 years, East Central Alabama has relied on Jackson Refrigeration for installation and service on all brands, including Rheem, Goodman, and York. Now we've expanded into A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, a division of Jackson Refrigeration. We still make your comfort our priority and expect our staff to be the most experienced, dedicated, and trained to give you the highest quality of sales and service. When choosing your heating and air company, choose our family of professionals. The all-new A1 Four Seasons Heating and Air, the all-new division of Jackson Refrigeration.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization, wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat, full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma, all with fast, friendly prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com, 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Bice Motors in Alexander City. Brian and his crew offer the latest lines of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, as well as the best used inventory around. Guaranteed lowest price. Bice.
Welcome back to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. About an hour left on tonight's show. Again, we'd love to hear from you. 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. A lot of great discussion here in this first hour, Luke. We really hadn't left the topic, about the way college athletics is headed and the SEC meetings and the stuff that was brought up that we knew finally has been brought out into the public eye, as Mike Slive alluded to it. Without autonomy and the ability to make the decisions that they want to make, you can see a separation in the near future. How will that affect the FCS schools? Some of you may be sympathetic out there, others may not care. Luke, you made a point before the segments with Dave on here that it's not Ohio State and Southern Cal and Alabama and Auburn and Florida State's responsibility to keep these schools up. And but for so many years, these schools have gone out on a limb and upgraded their facilities and spent. They get that money. They sacrifice their team to get big paydays so they can upgrade their facility so one day they can move up maybe to Division I and be competitive. And look, the reality of it is if these teams don't get a chance to play the Division I schools anymore, it's going to kill that. And how are they going to keep those facilities up and maintain them? It's something that, like Dave and I just talked about, they better not turn a blind eye to this. They better try to figure out a way to address this situation because it's coming.
The smaller schools better figure it out.
That's what I'm talking about.
The bigger schools are going to be like, hey,
I'm talking about the FCS
but
schools.
It's a lot like the people who, let's say, before the real estate bubble burst.
Yeah.
All the realtors were making all the money they could spend. And you buy big houses and big boats and big cars, and you don't save anything. And then when the bubble burst, then you're in a lot of trouble. If you had saved the whole time, nobody's telling all these other schools to upgrade their facilities.
But what are you supposed to do?
You can upgrade them as
if you're Troy, I know, but if you're Troy and you're the AD there, and your ambition is to move up, and you do get these paydays, what are you going to pour that money into? You want to build a bigger stadium, you want to build better facilities, you want to try to get your school up to that level because your ambition is to move to D1.
I'm not saying I have an answer. I'm just saying if you were an AD, that would be something you would have to keep an eye on the whole time. This is not something that everybody just started talking about this summer. We've been talking about people breaking away for a little while now. It's funny.
But this is the real time that it's really got legs to it. It's been a lot of talk and no action, but now we're getting to action.
Well, let me tell you, I saw a tweet while I was off air and Coach Jennings was on. You know what Bear Bryant made in 1979? Won a national championship.
What's that?
$45,000. Nick Saban just signed a contract that's going to pay him about $6.9 million.
I know. Look at
and that translates into $147,000. What Bear Bryant made in '79.
Yeah.
So he really would have been making almost $150. Which Bear Bryant, if he were in today's college football doing what he did.
Yeah,
I mean, he'd be making $10 million a year.
It's the time.
But so what I'm saying is, my point is, there's so much money out there now that you have to consider these things. And I know Troy has probably lived high on the hog going to some of these other games.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate, but I want to see Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, USC every week. I don't really care to watch Alabama play Georgia State anymore. I just don't want to see it. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to it, and I can take my young kids to it because you know what? There's not going to be a great crowd. You can move around. You can go get drinks a little bit easier and take people to the bathroom a little bit easier when you got kids. But I want to see Alabama.
I mean, I'll admit, and I've been a season ticket holder at Auburn for 15 plus years now, and since I left college, and you know, there's been a lot of games where Auburn played, you know, a lesser opponent that I just either gave my tickets away or didn't use them. You know, and I didn't go sit. I remember, and I'll tell this quick story. When Auburn played Ball State one Saturday afternoon, that I literally almost fell asleep in my seat. And my wife would probably tell you that I did fall asleep, but I'm just saying that I thought it was almost the point where I fell asleep sitting in my seat, and then I'm going, you know, and I asked myself, what am I doing? You know, here, you know, I want to watch
other good games on.
That and that's always a quandary. And I know a lot of people are devout Auburn, you're devout Alabama, but we love college football as a whole. We love to see the other good games too. And when you make that trip to your particular team stadium on that Saturday, it's usually an all-day ordeal, and you're going to miss some good games. So
if Georgia's playing South Carolina and Alabama's playing Georgia State, I'm going to stay home and watch Georgia South Carolina. I mean, that's a no-brainer for me. I mean, Alabama's going to blow Georgia State out of the water, and I know it's a money grab for Georgia State, and it's so funny. Everybody's poor Georgia State. Georgia State's sacrificing some of these players, saying, y'all go out there and play these behemoths while we just collect all this money. So it's not it's not like they're totally innocent in this whole thing.
No, there isn't. And so at the end of the day, what FCS schools have got to do is they've got to understand what's coming down the line, and they can't turn a deaf ear to it or a blind eye, because the problem's coming, and they're going to get caught one day with the problem in their lap, and they haven't done anything about it. They may be making preparations now, because you get schools like Florida and conference commissioners like Mike Slive come out and say, we're not going to play you anymore.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody can say, well, you know what, Georgia Southern beat Florida last year. That's all the more reason for Florida never to play you again.
And that's why Alabama hasn't played Troy and Auburn hasn't played Troy, because, you know, we had somebody say that just a minute ago. Why doesn't Auburn, if Auburn loses to Troy, well, then so be it. They just had a better team that year. The reason Auburn doesn't play Troy is because Auburn has nothing to win in that matchup. They already got to pay them a lot of money to play them. And number one, if they play a bad game and they only win by 10 points, then, well, you know, Auburn laid an egg. If they lose, this is the ultimate loss, like Georgia Southern. And if they win by 40, so what? You're supposed to beat them.
Right. And you give them legitimacy. And that's the thing.
And that's
why would Alabama? It's like Alabama and Auburn playing UAB. Why in the world would they? I mean, UAB fans are up in arms. Alabama has zero to gain from that, and so neither does Auburn. But they're two big schools in the state right now, and Auburn nor Alabama wants to give
the
UAB
shirts printed already.
Any chance.
You can see the shirts. I thought you were the big boy. Now you know you can see them printed, but you know that's neither here nor there. But we'd love to hear your opinion. We're gonna take a break. When we come back, I believe Jimmy Stein will be on with you, Luke, in the Bama Blitz segment of the show to talk some Alabama athletics right now. Not going so well for the Alabama softball team as they're down in game number 2, and I'll let you guys talk about that. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR's and SNS Tire right after this.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
It's political season. Get the most exposure for your campaign through Lee Marketing Group. Yard signs, banners, decals, door hangers, postcards, business cards, video production, advertising, and more. Custom, professional, and engaging. Everything you need in one place. Contact us today. 888-533-6758. www.leemarketing.net. LMG, success by design.
S&S Discount Tires just added a brand new third location in New Site to help better serve the New Site, Mella Valley, and Clay County area. S&S Discount Tire has the best prices on tires around with the most qualified service techs. S&S Discount Tires, the area's leading volume tire dealer, because we sell tires the right way by making them affordable with service beyond compare. S&S Discount Tire in New Site is located right across the street from East Building Supply. Call us today at 256-392-4022.
Sperlin Recycling is an Alabama-based recycling company specializing in the recycling of metal, aluminum, copper, ferrous, and non-ferrous waste. Sperlin Recycling is available for all your commercial recycling needs, including demolition, on-site scrap removal, and roll-off services. Sperlin Recycling is a family-owned corporation with several generations of experience. Call us today at 256-234-0903 and visit us online at www.sperlinrecycling.com.
At Brown Nursing Home, you'll find quality care and comfortable living. We take great pride in our rehabilitation services, including short-term rehabilitation. We offer speech, occupational, and physical therapy, as well as skilled nursing care. Brown is located on Washington Street in Alexander City. For more information, contact Cecily Lee, the administrator, at 256-329-9061.
Hello, I'm State Farm Agent Karen Chanel. I specialize in helping families and individuals like yourself in the Alexander City and Lake Martin communities. With over 20 years experience with State Farm and a dynamic team of licensed professionals, I am committed to helping you manage the risk of everyday life. And we not only consider it an honor, but a privilege to assist you in meeting your insurance and financial services needs. I sincerely look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Bama Blitz, brought to you by Bradbury Medical Center, offering durable medical equipment, including wheelchairs, oxygen, hospital beds, and more. 256-215-8654.
Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live, everybody. Luke Robinson here with you for the Bama Blitz, brought to you by Bradbury Medical Center. Now I have Jimmy Stein on the line with me. Jimmy Stein, of course, one of my cohorts with CrimsonCountryClub.com. We also do a podcast usually every week called At Talking Tuscaloosa. So please go check that out. Jimmy, how you doing tonight?
Very good, very good.
Good. Thanks for being on with us. First of all, I won't get into the bad news. We'll get to that in a second. The good news is Nick Saban just signed a contract extension through 2022. Now, the odds of his making it to 2022 as the head coach at Alabama, I would say, are slim to none. Still, symbolically, I think it's huge.
It is. It's for a lot of money. If Coach Saban wasn't rich before, he's rich now. That's just a lot of money compared to really any coach in the country in any sport in the country, NFL major with baseball, the NBA. It's just a huge contract, a lot of money. But as we all know, Luke, you know, about 1 year from now or less than a year from now, when the coaching carousel starts up again in December, in January of next year, if there's an opening in the NFL or an opening at Nebraska or an opening at another big SEC school, we'll hear Coach Saban's name again.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, his name's still going to be tossed around, especially now. And, Jimmy, we talked about this earlier in the show. I don't know if you've seen this. Rich Rodriguez just signed one of the more interesting contract extensions I've ever heard of in any sport, really. He's going to be making $2.2 million, which is interesting in his own right, considering Arizona hadn't done a ton. But he's going to be making $2.2 million a year. He's going to have some other kind of incentives and bonuses. But he's also been given the opportunity, if he stays the full 8 years of that contract, to acquire 500,000 shares of a certain stock in a company there in Arizona, I believe, which would be valued right this minute at $6-some-odd million. So are we going to see boosters start offering stock options to some of these coaches? That would make things pretty interesting.
It's hard to fathom that it can be, I mean, at some point, it's got to be about fiscal responsibility and not insanity. I just read that, Coach Bryant in 1979 made something like $55,000 that year, and today's money, that's still less than $200,000.
It's $147,000. We just looked that up.
Okay, so at some point, it's just absurd. But there's an arms race, and I think the long answer, Luke, is this. It's just the fact I haven't toured any NFL headquarters or toured a lot of college facilities. But the fact of the matter is most of these big colleges have these awesome facilities and awesome headquarters because they take the money that the professional franchises make, but they don't spend it on the players, so they spend it on facilities. If you went to the Cleveland Browns or the Seattle Seahawks NFL headquarters, you're going to find something less impressive than the Mal Moore building in Tuscaloosa. And that's because the pro teams spend their money on players and not so much on the fancy marble and the gold, the gold panels on the toilets. So, but at some point, everyone's just spending too much. I mean, at some point. So I guess we haven't gotten to that point just yet.
Okay, so Alabama softball, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Alabama just hit a home run to make the score 5-2, but things aren't looking real pretty right now, and Jackie Traina got rocked early.
Sure did, and at some point, you have to give credit to the other guys, and Florida has been outstanding in this. After 1.5 games, they've been an absolute buzzsaw, and sometimes you just show up and you get whipped. And this may be one of those times. The second game, it isn't over just yet, and Florida doesn't have their normal 8th pitcher in the game, so maybe Alabama can scrabble together some runs here. But at this point, just have to tip your hat to the Gators. They've been outstanding.
And a couple of more items of good news. First of all, baseball-wise, they at least made the NCAA tournament, even though they didn't look so good. Getting swept by Kennesaw State, I don't care how bad that last strike call was, and it was absolutely atrocious. Maybe one of the worst calls I've ever seen in any baseball game, and I say that without exaggeration. You still don't need to be swept by Kennesaw State, and what makes this even more frustrating is the fact that the super regional field may be the worst I've ever seen. So anybody's got a shot. If Alabama just could have beaten Kennesaw State yesterday, they'd be right in the thick of this thing.
Yeah, it's a real shame. It's kind of a two-edged thing where I would have been surprised if Alabama got out of the regional simply because beating Florida State right in Tallahassee was going to be a tall order for our bunch. But the way it played out, we didn't have to do that. We only had to beat Florida State one time down there in Tallahassee, and we did. But instead, we lose to Kennesaw State, and there's, in terms of the roster, I'm quite certain that most experts would agree Alabama had a better roster than Kennesaw State. Shouldn't be losing to those guys. On the other hand, Kennesaw is in a hotbed of talent area. I'd say the North Atlanta, North Georgia, there's as much baseball talent there as anywhere in America. They're ideally located for a small school. They do have a couple of that Pentecost guy as a good major league prospect, but no, I think it's impressive that they got their regionals. Impressive that they beat Florida State, but that's a team they shouldn't have lost to twice. No doubt about it.
And finally, talk a little bit about Alabama's latest football commit. It just happened yesterday.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one right after another during the camp season. That's not unusual for Alabama or any other school, really. Alabama's holding its first camp. Lots of kids coming to Alabama, working with the coaches, and it's just a great time to evaluate kids. And Alabama offered and took a defensive tackle from Woodlawn High School in Shreveport, Louisiana, named T.D. Moten. He's 6'3", 310 pounds. Pretty much the ideal two-gap guy. Alabama plays, in our 3-4 defense. We signed defensive linemen that are responsible for two gaps. It's a bigger kid. Alabama likes big defensive linemen. You can look, Luke, just at the projected starting lineup of Ashawn Robinson, Brandon Ivory, and Jaron Reed that tell that Alabama likes big kids up front. Moten is just the ideal fit for Alabama. That's probably why you see T.D. Moten committing to Alabama now and not waiting on an LSU, for instance, who plays an even man front. And Moten's just a better fit stylistically into what Alabama does.
Well, Jimmy, thanks so much for being with us tonight. We're going to do a Talking Tuscaloosa hopefully tomorrow, so we hope to have that podcast either up tomorrow night or Thursday. And, of course, we'll keep doing stuff for Crimson Country Club. And we appreciate your being on, buddy.
No, thanks for having me on. Y'all have a great night.
We'll see you later. That was Jimmy Stein, one of my cohorts over at CrimsonCountryClub.com, and always a contributor here at Sports Blitz Live, especially during the Bama Blitz. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sports Blitz Live.
When you're on Lake Martin and looking for your own boat, it pays to know what the locals know. Alex City Marine in Alex City and the all-new Alex City Marine South on Highway 63 across from the Mini Mall is Lake Martin's premier Landau pontoon boat dealer and the area's authorized Suzuki, Honda, and Mercury outboard dealer. Alex City Marine has the industry's best brands, and they back it up with the industry's best boat repair with marine-certified specialists that get it done right. Whether summerization or a full overhaul, Alex City Marine has you covered on both ends of the lake. Know what the locals know. Alex City Marine, Lake Martin's complete sales and service center with 2 locations to serve you.
What is LMG? It's a team of professionals with the tools to create a successful marketing plan to help your business grow. LMG has successful designs that get results for the individual and the business. We provide signs of all types, screen printing and embroidery, promotional products, web design, audio and video production, and much more. LMG has 3 locations to serve you in Alex City, Dadeville, and the Auburn Opelika area. Call us at 888-533-6758.
If you've been seriously injured in a car wreck or truck wreck, don't let the insurance company knock you out without taking responsibility for your medical expenses, pain and suffering, and car repair. You need a fighter. I'm a former Golden Glove champion, and I will fight for you to get the money you deserve. Call Script and put a fighter in your corner.
Call the Walton Law Firm at 334-321-3000 or toll free at 866-321-3330. Put a fighter in your corner.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided is greater than that of other attorneys.
Have you been waiting to refinance your mortgage because you're concerned about the value of your home? Recent market data shows that property values have been increasing in our area.
The HomePlace Flex allows you to choose your term, whether you're looking to take years off of your mortgage or lower your monthly payment. Now is the time to act while rates are still at historic lows.
With the HomePlace Ultimate, this is a smart solution to combine your bills, lower your monthly expenses, and even take on that new home improvement project you've been putting off.
Call us today for all your mortgage needs.
Smart car shoppers will tell you.
Don't think twice.
Don't miss the Dodge 100-year event at Vice Motors in Alex City. Your low price leader for Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Isn't it time you got really smart?
Take my advice. Don't roll the dice. Buy it at Vice.
Guaranteed lowest price, or we'll pay you the difference in price twice.
Nice price. Lowest price.
ViceChryslerDodge.com.
It's political season. Get the most exposure for your campaign through Lee Marketing Group. Yard signs, banners, decals, door hangers, postcards, business cards, video production, advertising, and more. Custom, professional, and engaging. Everything you need in one place. Contact us today. 888-533-6758. www.leemarketing.net. LMG. Success by design.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Sperlin Recycling. For all your commercial recycling or demolition needs, call them today at 256-234-0903 or visit them online at www.sperlinrecycling.com.
Welcome back to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and SNS. Discount Tire, Brett Pritchard and Luke Robinson. Again, I want to thank Jimmy Stein for being on the program with us. talk some Alabama athletics and the Bama Blitz. And Luke, we'll shift out of that and dive into something. In this world, day and age, everybody changes their mind on a dime. Dan Marino, one day is suing the NFL with a concussion lawsuit. Now Dan Marino withdraws from the lawsuit. Your thoughts on this whole situation?
Well, he says what happened is he signed up with some group that said, we're going to protect you if it turns out you have concussions, and he didn't realize they were going to sue the NFL. I mean, what do you do? Just go around and somebody says, hey, Dan, I really want you to sign this. Okay. I mean, a contract? I mean, Dan had to know this was going to happen. And see, as an NFL broadcaster, it puts him in a real sticky situation.
It does, because that's what he's making his money doing.
Yeah, and so I think what probably happened is he came to his senses and says, whatever I would make on this lawsuit probably isn't going to be as much as I make annually
at CBS.
And CBS probably said, I got an idea. Why don't you go ahead with that lawsuit, but don't bother showing up to work tomorrow.
And I'm sure that's what happened. And says the NFL and the original group of players agreed on a $765 million settlement in August of 2013. But the settlement was rejected by a federal judge in January. So basically they're at square one. And, you know, we have talked about concussions and this situation on our program for a couple of years now. And the HSA, I coach All-Stars, 9-year-old All-Stars, and we're all made to understand about concussions and signs. The HSA makes all the coaches in every sport take a test to make sure they're knowledgeable about the signs of concussions. And, look, we want to err on the side of safety and caution. And but on the flip side, in high school and especially when you get to college in pro sports, you sign up to play a sport, you know the risks that you're taking.
Right. I don't mean to sound unsympathetic, but
it's going to happen.
And back in Marino's day, there probably were more signs, and the NFL may not have led on to everybody that they knew what they knew. But now nobody's got a reason to make any lawsuits. I mean, you know football's dangerous. I mean, basketball's dangerous. Every sport you play,
an elbow to the temple.
You play in baseball and you know somebody has a comebacker right to your head if you're the pitcher. Or a pitcher beans a batter. There's risk out there in every sport. But I think that's part of it, Brett. I mean, I think that for a long time it was accepted as part of the game. And then everybody got so much bigger and so much faster, we didn't realize the damage we were doing. But now we know. And everybody's trying to make the equipment as safe as it possibly can.
You can only make it as safe. I mean, you can only do so much.
I mean, eventually, you'll be playing football. Everybody will be out there in a giant bubble, one of those balls
just bounce off each other.
Ran at the carnival, and just everybody bouncing around. But I mean, you can get hurt in any sport. And again, I'm not trying to sound unsympathetic, but let me say this, Brett. If I were a football player in high school and I thought I had a chance to go pro and people told me I had a legitimate shot at it, would I take a risk to ensure my family's future for years and years and years, generational money?
Absolutely.
To sacrifice, say, 8 to 10 years of my life, if I knew football was going to take 8 to 10 years of my life off on the back end, you darn right I'd do it. I mean, if I could make generational money for my children and make sure that they're secure financially, and on the back end of my life take off 8 to 10 years, I'd do it all day.
I think a lot of people would do that. And, you know, the bad thing about this is, and I'm not saying everybody, and obviously Dan Marino is successful as one of the analysts with CBS, but, you know, sometimes a lot of the people that team up and join in on these class action lawsuits are the ones that have blown their money, ones that have not done things the right way and managed and now that their prime is over, that all that money's gone and they don't have the tools they had once.
Right.
And they're older and now they can't make that money anymore because that talent's gone. You know, it's just like Dave said with players leaving college early to go pro. You better strike while the iron's hot. You can go back and get your degree, and so many pro athletes do that. But you got a window in there that you better, if that's what you want to do, and you have that kind of talent, you better take the leap of faith because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring as far as a knee injury, as far as an arm injury if you're a pitcher. as far as whatever it might be out there, maybe a back injury like Tiger Woods is going through, he can't get back from. He was the greatest golfer this world's probably ever seen, minus maybe a Jack Nicklaus and an Arnold Palmer at one point in time. But he can't get over this, and you don't know if that young 23-year-old golfer that's got supposedly a 15-year career ahead of him gets hurt in an automobile accident, hurts his back, and can't play the game, can't play the sport anymore. You can't bet on the future. You better take what you got while you get a chance.
I totally agree. Speaking of Tiger Woods, he won't be in the U.S. Open this coming week, and we can talk about this later. I know you want to do the Auburn Blitz, but how does this affect golf? I mean, it seems to me there is no fun in watching these golf tournaments without Tiger and a little bit without Phil Mickelson.
That's right. And Mickelson in the news with some, and again, the Phil Mickelson situation is regarding insider trading. And, he was approached by FBI agents at the memorial. Dave Jennings was at the memorial. And, more will come out about this, I'm sure, but he is standing by that he hasn't done anything wrong.
Well, if you don't think that he can go to prison, if they send Martha Stewart to prison, they will darn sure send Phil Mickelson to prison if they feel like he's convicted.
That's exactly right. And I hope for that sake and golf's sake and all that doesn't happen. So, but we'll continue this discussion a little bit later. We'll take your calls, 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. When we come back, we'll have the Auburn Blitz and talk some Auburn athletics. Big Cat weekend this past weekend, a huge weekend for Auburn in recruiting. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR's and SNS Tire right after this.
Bradbury Medical Equipment serves the Lake Martin area's needs with durable medical equipment and respiratory care. Bradbury Medical Equipment is home-owned and operated, providing skilled, qualified, and professional people to set up and deliver all of their equipment. Bradbury Medical Equipment provides 24-hour service and will file all insurance claims, making claims trouble-free. Located on Airport Drive in Alexander City, Bradbury Medical Equipment, a history of neighborly care. Call them today at 256-215-8654.
JR's Catering is your premier choice for catering for any occasion in the Lake Martin area. Their quality food service can cater any event from banquets, family celebrations, charity events, political gatherings, as well as corporate catering. For delicious food of any kind and great service, call on JR's Catering today at 256-329-2328.
Hello, I'm Russell Building Supply.
And I'm the big box store.
Box, I don't mean to cut you short, but I've got a delivery to make.
A delivery?
Yeah, Russell delivers anywhere in the local area for free, usually on the same day, and that's on top of our low price guarantee.
Really? Free? Are you kidding me?
No, and if you prefer to pick the order up yourself, we'll load it for free.
And on the same day?
Yeah, we're really good at working on short lead times. How about you?
Yeah, I'm short.
Serving Lake Martin and Central Alabama.
SNS Discount Tire on Cherokee Road in Alex City is the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealership and a place for everything mechanical. Weary and the SNS Tire crew are ready to serve you with double the capacity from routine oil changes to full engine overhauls and all transmission work. SNS Tire can handle it all. That's SNS Tire on Cherokee Road. Call David or Weary today at 256-215-8822. Visit SNS Discount Tire at 224 East South Street in David, now in 2 locations.
In this moment, you want a team that stands behind you so you can perform your best. At Auto Owners Insurance, it's how we do business every day. Because along with our independent agents, no one works harder to keep you in the game. Auto Owners Insurance.
Call Dark Insurance today, 256-234-5026.
Lila's Engraving, celebrating 20 years of business in Alexander City, is proud to supply the Lake Martin area with all of its trophies, plaques, name tags, and any other engraving needs. Lila's also specializes in custom framing of any size picture or portrait. Lila's Engraving has been and continues to be a proud sponsor of Lake Martin area athletics So go by and see or call Lila's Engraving at 256-234-6004.
Auburn Blitz, brought to you by Dane Sharp, attorney at law, helping injured people get the full benefit of their case. Call Dane today at 256-825-4631.
Welcome back to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and SNS Discount Tire. Brett Pritchard here with you, and Luke Robinson will join me again after this segment. But we're in the Auburn Blitz segment of the program, sponsored by Dane Sharp, attorney at law. For all your legal needs, give Dane Sharp a call today, 256-825-4631, located across the street from the Tallapoosa County Courthouse. Again, Dane Sharp, attorney at law. A big weekend for Auburn University this past weekend, unofficial start to the summer. Recruiting is they had Big Cat Weekend, a number of big-time prospects, headlined by Torrance Gibson, the five-star quarterback from Miami, Florida, the top dual threat quarterback in the country. Really has his options limited to Auburn and Tennessee now, so it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening with him. But as he left Auburn this past weekend, he said Auburn has a slight lead now, and I don't think anybody is surprised by that. When you're in on a big weekend and a lot of visitors like that, that's going to happen a lot of times. But it looks like it's a two-horse race there between Auburn and Tennessee, and we'll see which team ends up winning there. Trey Matthews, the former defensive back for Georgia, that was part of that miracle on the Plains catch in Auburn. The ball tipped up. Number 25 for Georgia has been dismissed officially from Georgia's roster by Mark Richt, and he tweeted out today that he'll end up in one of two places, Auburn or Louisville. Said he loved the Dogs, but he will move on, and Auburn or Louisville will be his new home. And if you can remember, back when Trey Matthews was being recruited, a top four-star, five-star defensive back, that it came down to Georgia and Auburn, he chooses the Bulldogs at the end of the day. And is now dismissed for team rules. Would not be shocked if he ends up at Auburn. If Gus Malzahn wants to take a chance on that, Luke feels like he'll end up at Louisville because that seems to be the trend with players that leave or get dismissed from their current universities. They tend to find a way to make it up to Louisville, and Bobby Petrino's there, so you know they're going to try to go after him. Don't know if he'll end up in the SEC or not. I know a lot of people out there are pushing for a rule if you get dismissed from a conference school that you can't go to another conference school. So that rule does not exist right now, so he could very well end up at Auburn. And how ironic. He is part of that tipped-up pass that Ricardo Lewis caught to beat Georgia, and he could end up wearing orange and blue next year, just like Nick Marshall did last year as an Auburn Tiger coming over from Georgia. In baseball news, there's some controversy going on with Sonny Galloway. A lot of people have been hearing about this week. It was reported that Scott Foxhall, the assistant coach for Auburn, the pitching coach, had filed a lawsuit against Auburn University for his dismissal. It has been since dismissed. That claim has been dismissed, that he has not filed a lawsuit. But Sonny Galloway, under some internal investigation, according to several sources out there, and will his tenure be cut short? Will he only be there one season? Will the Auburn administration stand behind Sonny Galloway and allow him to make changes and do the things he needs to do? But a lot more to come on this story. Will Sonny Galloway be the head coach at Auburn in baseball next year, amongst a lot of great hires that Jay Jacobs have made over the last couple of years with Gus Malzahn, Bruce Pearl, Clint Meyer in softball, and the list goes on and on. At the time, it appeared that Sonny Galloway was an outstanding hire. Not saying that it still is not an outstanding hire, but a lot of questions to be answered at a later date. But we'll see how that plays out. That's going to do it for the Auburn Blitz segment of our program here, sponsored by Dane Sharp, attorney at law. Again, make sure you call Dane Sharp today, 256-825-4631, for all your legal needs, or go by and see him in Davil, Alabama, across the street from the Tallapoosa County Courthouse. That's going to do it for the Auburn Blitz. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR's and S&S Discount Tire right after this.
Ever wondered what LNG can do for you? The possibilities are endless.
LNG offers custom apparel and promotional products, any type of signage and vehicle wraps, web design and internet marketing, video production, paper products, and more. Visit us online at www.leemarketing.net. With 3 locations to best serve you: Madison Street in Alexander City, Highway 280 in Dadeville, and Frederick Road in Auburn.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. Texting while driving has recently become a real problem. In our office, we see many cases where texting has led to auto accidents and serious injuries. We would encourage all parents to speak with their children regarding the dangers of texting while driving. And remember, if you're in your car, waiting to send out or read that text message won't change your life, but distracted driving can.
This message brought to you by personal injury attorney Dane Sharp. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided is greater than that of other attorneys. CTE Small Engines has served East Alabama's lawn and power equipment needs with quality products from Echo, Husqvarna, and Kawasaki. But now, CTE has expanded to serve the entire state with full lines of Titan UTV. CTE Small Engines is Alabama's exclusive Titan dealer with full lines of the Scoot, Sniper, Explorer, and Recon series, featuring hybrid electric and gas combo with up to an 1100cc power package. See Alabama's exclusive Titan dealer, CTE Small Engines at Opelika next to Tigertown off I-85, or shop our full inventory at ctesmallengines.com.
It's always something. Your car needs a new tire, tuition is due, it's down to the wire. Cheerleading outfits, soccer shoes, football pads, or annual dues. Nellie's in band, she needs a trombone. Good golly molly, you need a loan. Jimmy broke his arm, he needs a cast. You need money, and you need it fast. When life comes at you, Always Money can help you through. It's easy, convenient, friendly, and fast. You'll get the cash you need the day you need it. So because it's always something, remember Always Money. How much can we loan you today?
At the Medicine Shop, we're dedicated to the idea that quality pharmacy care means more than just prompt prescriptions. When you come to the Medicine Shop Pharmacy, you'll be able to count on dependable care from a knowledgeable pharmacist. The Medicine Shop is the only compounding pharmacy in the area, and we offer the shingles vaccine year-round. Bring your prescriptions by the drive-thru on Airport Drive in Alex City, or input them online at www.medicineshop.com, or call them at 256-215-8014. The Medicine Shop, caring beyond prescriptions.
JR Sports Bar and Grill. Mondays, all-you-can-eat fingers, $13.25. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, all-you-can-eat wings, $12.25. Every day, kids in uniforms eat for $1.99. Alabama Street in Alexander City and Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
Welcome back to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. About 20 minutes left in tonight's show, and it is election night out there. And as poll results come in, I got a poll for you, Luke. And this has not been accomplished yet, but the Miami Heat and the San Antonio Spurs will be in the NBA Finals starting Thursday, and the Heat will have an opportunity to three-peat, just like the Bulls did twice while Michael Jordan was there. The 91-93 Bulls, though, a very strong team, and Sports Nation did a poll. Which team would win a 7-game series, provided all athletes involved were at the same age during their respective dynasties? What do you think the results of the poll are? And then I'll give them to you. 91-93 Bulls or the 2012-2014 Heat? Which team would you take?
The Bulls.
The Bulls. 80% of the country said that, and that's with almost 20,000 votes on that poll. So overwhelmingly, and why is that, Luke? Because let me tell you, I'm not going to take anything away from the Miami Heat. I mean, I think that they deserve their praise and where they fall. But the Spurs blew that series last year. They had the lead 3-2 going into Game 6. And if it wasn't for Ray Allen hitting that three, that game, they lose on their home floor to a San Antonio Spurs team 4-2. They come back, go into overtime, win it, and then they win Game 7 convincingly. But LeBron James, when the game was on the line, threw up one of the most, and Andy and I talked about this, and it still sticks out, one of the most horrific shots I've ever seen with a game on the line. Didn't even hit any iron. And if it wasn't such a bad shot and come ricocheting off and to where they could get the rebound to kick it to Ray Allen, they lose. I mean, and the Spurs were up 5 points with 30-something seconds.
About 30 seconds.
And they blew it. So, again, they had to do what they had to do to come back and win, but it was more the Spurs blowing it than it was the Heat winning it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I think the Spurs overall are the better team. I mean, Tim Duncan's still playing really well.
Unbelievable at 38 years old.
It's crazy. And there was some debate, I know, on PTI today about, where do you put Tim Duncan in your all-time NBA list? And they said that nobody would take Tim Duncan over Larry Bird. And I don't know. I mean, it'd be closer than I think. I mean, I'd probably still go with Bird. It's hard to go against Larry Bird. But Tim Duncan's not far away.
No, he's not. And if he wins this time, hey, look, to me, he etches his name in the stone of NBA basketball, and Greg Popovich too, man. I mean, give him a lot of credit.
I remember when Greg Popovich, I believe, hired himself. I think he was the general manager of San Antonio. He fired whoever the coach was. I can't remember who it was at the time. And he said, I'm just going to start coaching. And he started coaching, and I thought at the time it sounded like such a dumb move, like so egotistical. But he's awesome.
In series where he has a 3-2 lead, he's 12-1, and that last year was the only blemish there. And up until that point, and correct me if I'm wrong, up until that point, every time the Spurs made it to a finals, they won it.
Yeah.
So, and they were in perfect position. 3-2 lead, 5-point lead, 30-something seconds to go. Looked like the game was over. And again, Greg Popovich was questioned, why was Tim Duncan not in that game coming down the stretch? And but I don't know if you can really question what Greg Popovich has done, because the Spurs have been tremendous all the way back to the days of David Robinson and now Tim Duncan. And if this team's not getting any younger, a lot of people felt like Oklahoma City would out-athlete them, but they found a way to win the series. And fortunate enough for them, they won it in 6 games and not in 7, so they could have that extra 4 days to prepare for the Heat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to watching this. I mean, this is a series I think everybody, whether or not they wanted to admit it, they need to see. The NBA needed this series. The Thunder, I don't think, are good enough to play with the Heat. They obviously weren't good enough to play with the Spurs.
That's right.
And I don't think anybody on the East is even worth thinking about. The Indiana Pacers were practically bipolar. They would look great one night, and then the next night, the very same players that were killing it a night, 2 nights earlier, would look like they've never seen a basketball before.
And the proof was in the pudding when the Pacers won game 5. They won game 5 by 3 points, 93-90, and LeBron James had 7 points.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you knew right then that they were going to get their doors blown off in Game 6, and that's exactly what happened when they went back to Miami. So, again, going to be interesting to watch this NBA Finals. I'm with you. I think it's going to be the series that everybody wanted to see, so you got it. And I don't know what the clock is on the San Antonio Spurs before this team breaks. This may be it. This may be the last hurrah for Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker and the whole group, Tim Duncan. But I'm sorry, I'd like to see them win, because they are the most non-controversial franchise, I believe, in sports. They just show up, and you never hear anything about their players. They epitomize the word team, and to me, I'd just like to see them win one more before these guys retire.
They're very blue-collar. It's kind of like San Antonio. I mean, San Antonio is I mean, yeah, everybody knows about the Alamo, but I mean, it's a big town.
It is.
I mean, a big
pretty
city,
town.
And it's a pretty town. I've been there several times, but it's you don't think of it among the big places, even in Texas. You may think of Houston, Dallas.
That's right.
Austin, even.
Mm-hmm. But the NBA final set Thursday night, and it'll be exciting. Update on the softball game?
Well, Alabama had the bases loaded with 2 outs, and they have a ground out, so they Florida gets out of that inning. It's still 5-2. But I did see an interesting tweet just a second ago. Last year's Georgia-Auburn game with the miracle catch, 3 of the 4 players involved in that miracle catch on the Georgia side have now been dismissed, with Trey Matthews being dismissed. And I know he's making it sound like I've decided to leave Georgia. No, he was booted.
No, he was booted
from Georgia.
Yeah, he was given the door.
Right.
So, that's amazing. So who are the other ones? Do you know? Josh Harvey Clemens
was no. He was 2 years ago. I think he
Josh Harvey.
But he was a tight end. He's not even.
Oh, you talking about whoever
who was involved
in
the defensive backfield. And this is real bad. Was Shaq Wiggins one of them for Georgia?
I don't know.
Anyway,
the 2 players that were in on that catch with Ricardo Lewis were Trey Matthews and Josh Harvey Clemens, and those were the 2 players there at the time of the tip.
Now, is he the one that transferred to Louisville?
I think he did.
Yeah.
So I think both of them are. Well, now both of them are gone. That's great.
Yeah.
And both of them were high-profile guys coming out, 4- and 5-star guys. We're up against a break. Last segment of the show coming up. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR's and SNS Tire, right after this.
What is LMG? It's a team of professionals with the tools to create a successful marketing plan to help your business grow. LMG has successful designs that get results for the individual and the business. We provide signs of all types, screen printing and embroidery, promotional products, web design, audio and video production, and much more. LMG has 3 locations to serve you in Alex City, Dadeville, and the Auburn Opelika area. Call us at 888-533-6758.
Showing Up Barbecue. Since 1990, we've been serving you the finest barbecue in Alexander City. Gerald believes in cooking fresh meat daily, and the secret to that is, I'm not going to tell you. Showing Up is just not about barbecue, but also known for fresh vegetables and homemade pies. That's where I come in. I'm Linda Sanford, better known as the Pie Lady. We also do catering. For more information, give us a call at 234-7675.
Have you heard about Walls Tire and Auto? Walls Tire and Auto is a full-service garage with over 40 years combined experience in the shop. Let the professional, experienced staff at Walls Tire and Auto provide you with any service your car needs. You already know they handle tires of all sizes and brands, but did you know if your car breaks down, the friendly staff of Walls Tire and Auto will pick you up, make the repairs, and deliver your car back to you? Stop by and see them today. They're right off Highway 280, about a mile past Lake Hill Bridge, or call at 256-825-2628.
It's not surprising that Russell Medical Center has outpatient services, but what might surprise you is that we have so many. So remember, for the finest in outpatient services, our doors are always open. Russell Medical Center, conveniently located in Alexander City.
Hey, Jerry. Nice yard. I bet this dead wood really hits home for you. The only thing getting trimmed around here are property values.
Does it ever feel like your yard work is taunting you?
Where you going? The nail salon's the other way.
Take back your yard with professional-grade equipment from Echo. Reliable, easy to use, and backed by a 5-year warranty. Echo. Get serious.
Get your SRN 225 trimmer at Satterfield's, Highway 280, Alexander City.
When you need plumbing service, call on the professionals at A&M Plumbing, LLC. For over 20 years, our mission has been to provide the best possible service available in the industry, and we specialize in solving difficult problems. We offer a wide range of services, such as installation, service, repair, and replacement of common fixtures, water heaters, toilets, faucets, drains, sewer lines, and septic tank pumping and cleaning services. Unlike many companies, our septic tank services include field line testing. Our knowledgeable staff will be happy to answer any of your questions, so call A&M Plumbing, LLC today.
This segment of Sports Blitz brought to you by Lee Marketing Group. For signage, tees, web design, and more, call on LMG today at 256-825-0197.
Welcome back to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire.
And let me make a correction. I said we were talking about Josh Harvey Clemens, and I got mixed up with Ty Flournoy Smith, who's committed to Alabama and is a tight end. Both hyphenated names. I just got them mixed up there for a second. But Josh Harvey Clemens is one of the other ones that transferred, I believe, out of Georgia.
Yeah,
I believe he's headed to Louisville.
Well, and I think you alluded to that Louisville's a stop for a lot of these guys. And if Josh Harvey Clemens is there, then he's going to probably try to bring him in as well. He's going to try to bring Trey Matthews in as well.
He's going to have Georgia's secondary. He's just going to move on over to Louisville.
There's no doubt about it. Luke, to end the show, we always, in the last segment, try to have some interesting takes on things. And there's an article out there about the 7 wealthiest players of all time in the NFL. And it is astounding how many of them are quarterbacks. And I'm going to start at number 7. The 7th wealthiest player in NFL history is Joe Montana at $80 million, his current worth.
Wow.
So number 6 is Brett Favre at $100 million. Number 5 is Tom Brady at $120 million. Number 4 is John Elway at $145 million. So far, from 7 to 4, we've got quarterbacks. Well, number 3 is a quarterback. Peyton Manning, $165 million. Number 2, John Madden at $200 million. That's kind of a shock there.
Well, most of his are going to come from the video game.
That's
no doubt about it.
That's a good point. Number 1, would you guess who number 1 is?
I really couldn't.
Roger Staubach, $600 million worth.
Wow.
Unbelievable. What is Roger Staubach worth that much money?
It has to be something outside of football. I mean, he probably made good money.
I mean, it's amazing. I don't know how to even
good
describe
investments.
it.
I mean,
it's got to be. It's actually around $640 million is what they estimate his net worth.
I had a good friend of mine one time, John Elway, was negotiating a deal, I remember 10, 12 years ago, about his car dealership, and I think that's where he made a lot of his money, and I think the deal was for $98 million, and my friend said, $98 million is my price. If I was holding a suitcase with $100 million in it, and you offered me $98 million, I'm going to sell it, because I don't need any more than $98 million.
You don't need anything else.
You darn sure don't need $640 million. But, more power to them. Look.
Here are the prime examples of guys that took their prime, made the most of it, went out, obviously made investments. I mean, you got a couple of current players in here, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. The rest of them are out of football. And that to me is what we started the show about, is that while the iron's hot, you strike, get as much as you can, be smart with your investments. It was sad to see, we had Keith McCants on just the other night. And right is literally, after he gets off our program, is caught with an illegal substance again. It's just some people cannot.
You can't get away. And I'm sure there's some reason. Because,
of course.
Look, there's the stories he was telling us the other night. You can't make it up. You can't do that. I mean, you can't. Nobody would ever believe. I said it was The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. I mean, The Secret Life of Keith McCants. Nobody would ever guess Keith McCants, a kid who grew up with modest, to say the least, upbringing in Mobile, Alabama, would end up being a master diver in Tampa at the same time he's broke. I mean, it all makes no sense. And of course, he was arrested, and he had some other news.
Well,
and out of respect to him, I won't say it,
Yeah.
but he said he had some other things, other irons in the fire, and he talked a little bit about them. The people he's met, the things he's done, absolutely nuts. And for him to be broke, there's really just about no excuse.
Yeah, there's really not. And we got about 45 seconds to give you a little update on Roger Staubach, how he made his money. He was in real estate, sold his real estate company to Jones Lang LaSalle in 2008 for $640 million. And back when Roger Staubach was playing football, it was about like Bear Bryant's salary in college football.
Exactly.
They weren't making a lot of money. He took what he could and made the most out of it. So there you go, a lot of motivation stuff tonight with what you need to do with your money. We're out of time. Again, it's been a fun
it's
show.
It's that easy to make $440 million.
$640 million. I got a company. I just want to sell it. So, again, for our producer, Justin Clayton, our partner, Luke Robinson, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we enjoyed it. We hope you did. See you next time for Sports Blitz.
We're jazzing it up in Alexander City for the 24th annual Alex City Jazz Fest, June 13th and 14th. Join us Friday evening at Strand Park and Saturday night at the Lake Martin Amphitheater for a toe-tapping good time. A spectacular lineup includes Sunpipe Barnes and the Louisiana Sunspots, the Dirty Governors, St. Paul and the Broken Bones, and the Green River Ordinance. But it ain't love if it can't break your heart. Find us on the web or like us on Facebook. See you soon at the Alex City Jazz Fest.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization, wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat, full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma, all with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com, 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
It's always something. Your car needs a new tire, tuition is due. It's down to the wire. Cheerleading outfits, soccer shoes, football pads, or annual dues. Nellie's in band. She needs a trombone. Good golly molly, you need a loan. Jimmy broke his arm. He needs a cast. You need money, and you need it fast. When life comes at you, Always Money can help you through. It's easy, convenient, friendly, and fast. You'll get the cash you need the day you need it. So because it's always something, remember Always Money. How much can we loan you today?
Hello? Yeah, man, I just picked some up. Wait a second. I think I see some cheaper ice. Hold on one moment. What's going on here?
Man, just get my ice at Twice Ice like I always do.
Well, look what I paid almost $3 for.
Man, you can get a 16-pound bag of ice or fill up your cooler with 20 pounds for $1.50. This is the only place to come.
Just pull up to one of our convenient locations in Alex City, Dadeville, Sylacauga, or Childersburg and fill up your cooler. Lowest price, convenience. That's what you get with Twice the Ice.
Tallapoosa Ford on Highway 280 in Alex City has delivered new Fords for 35 years. Need fuel efficiency with style? See the best selection of 13 Ford Fusions delivering 38 MPG in a new stylish package. Check out the Hybrid C Max crossover now on the lot, offering roomy comfort with an amazing 47 MPG, rating highway and city.
Hello, this is Jeff Smith with Tallapoosa Ford. I'd like to welcome you to our dealership and experience our low-pressure sales. With non-commissioned salespeople, our sales force is here to serve you.
Visit Tallapoosa Ford, Highway 280, Alex City. If we don't have it, we'll get it, guaranteed.